Materials for Making Chili Productions presents. Alright, as I promised, here is the video of the Zenith VM6000 from the start, with a little bit more modern of a camera. That should focus a little bit better close up than the VM6200 did. You can start at the logo here. Zenith. The quality goes in before the name goes on. Like I said in the original video, you certainly wouldn't see that anymore. Everything is China Pride now. Just with a badge, such as Zenith, slapped on it. I like how it says VCR on it, which is technically true because this does feature the ability to play back your recording, something that a lot of camcorders of the time did not do. In fact, I have an advertising pamphlet in here that advertises that as one of its main features. This is the VAC 408 VM6000 system carrying case. Handled with care, of course. Unfortunately, the box is a little broken. There is supposed to be a thing there you can see that this would go into, but it's not there any longer. But I mean, if that's the only fault, and really it is, who can fault it? Forgive the pun for that. Let's see here, I might be able to get it sideways so you can see it better. Manufactured in Japan to the standards and specifications of Zenith Electronics Corporation. They list a Glenview, Illinois address. I guess that's the barcode they would have scanned when you would have bought it. There are a couple of really interesting things on this particular box, and that is one of them there. This did come from New Jersey. This one is kind of ripped off a little bit, so I'm not really sure exactly what that would have been, but that's certainly interesting. Cross River Industries Warehousing and Distribution would be my guess, and this went to some kind of a television corporation. But you'll probably find about as much information about that as I did, which is to say pretty much nothing. And I guess there used to be something there as well, probably a packing slip. On this side, the only thing that we see that's different is, of course, that right there. I don't know what that means. And this thing which says Springfield. I wonder which Springfield they're talking about, because there are a lot of Springfield in the United States. Okay, let me go ahead and pause this, and I will take the camera and carrying case out of the box. Okay, so I've got the camera case out, but before we look at that, we'll have a look at some of the paperwork that came with it. Now, I've scanned all this stuff in, so in the video description, just like the previous video, there will be a link to a folder where you can look at all of this stuff in higher resolution than this video will give you. This is the registration card. For whatever reason, I've actually got two of these safety tips things. They're both different. I haven't read them, so I don't know, and that's a good thing to admit to, right? But I don't know exactly what the differences between the two are, but there's that one there, and there's this smaller one right here. This is a notice about battery packs. And there's a note about the Zenith VM6000. The compact video movie camera recorder that's a system in itself. You can go ahead and pause the video if you'd like to read any of those features. Although again, if you want it in higher resolution than this video can give you, I do actually have scans of pretty much everything. Not the user's manual, at least not yet. I probably will eventually scan this, but I'll need a better scanner than the one that I've got, because it would take for bloody ever to scan this user's manual in, if I had to use my scanner, because, I mean, it's like 40 pages worth. Yeah. Here's the full-page advertisement I was talking about, and this thing actually is for a lighting guide, or... yeah, this is a lighting guide for a lighting product I didn't actually get with this, and I didn't think about looking through the seller's other listings to see if they had this. Not that it would really matter. Just getting this here alone was frightfully expensive. Although still well below market value for these. Either way, we'll have a look at this. And again, I've scanned this in. So if you'd like to see it in better quality, and presumably at least a little bit less wrinkled, you can go ahead and look there. I'm not sure if this would have been in a magazine, or if this would have shipped with the camera itself. It'd be very interesting if it did. But you can see all kinds of stuff here on the edges. There's the 20-minute tapes that it would have come with, or you could have bought separately. It's actually a very accurate depiction of the camcorder. Usually you don't see that in user's manuals, or anything really. You can pause the video if you'd like to read any of this, assuming you can. And again, it sounds like a broken record, but it's in the video description if you'd like to see it in high resolution. Try and get it to where there's no glare. So it does have automatic exposure. Or iris, I guess, is what they called it back then. It does not, however, have automatic focus. You had to go a little bit higher in the marketplace if you wanted that. The VM6000 is one with automatic focus. There's also a VM6150, which might have been somewhat related to this. That one might have had autofocus. I don't know. I haven't tried to look into getting one of those. There was one on eBay for a while. I don't know if it's still there. It probably is. But if I remember right, it was also frightfully expensive and way more than I think that a VHS-C camera should be worth. You can actually plug in your own microphones if you desire, as long as it doesn't require its own power. Doesn't require plug-in power, I should say. It'd work just fine. It's just a standard 3.5mm jack. This was before they had 30-minute tapes, I believe. I don't know if they had 30 right off the bat, or if it was these 20-minute tapes first, but all the tapes that I got for this are 20-minute tapes. And it doesn't have a switch to select between 20 and 30 minutes. I didn't try and actually run a tape all the way through to see what would happen if you tried to go beyond 20 minutes. Well, that might be an interesting experiment. Though I'm not sure I'd really want to run the camera for more than 20 minutes at a time. What if it's actually fashioned with Velcro? Or if that's just another use of a genericized trademark. I don't think the image stabilization on this thing is really working that well. But that's alright. So that's it for this thing. Well, mostly. This is what I was talking about. It compares itself to a beta movie as well as Kodavision 8mm. Might be interesting to see if I can find a Kodak 8mm video camera. Although I don't know if that's 8mm film or if that's 8mm tape. Could be film. I have to look up the Kodavision trademark. I'll let you know. But you can see that the video movie, the Zenith video movie, is pretty much the only one with all of the features on this list. Well, I'm kind of surprised you can't actually play beta movie through any TV without any special equipment. That's kind of strange. I did know that you couldn't play it back through the viewfinder. The low light recording is pretty interesting as well. 15 lux as opposed to 28 for beta and 20 for Code of Vision. Very lightweight and small as well. Technical specs. I don't know if I'm really going to show you all of this because this is a lot of information to try and take in this video. You can look at the scan if you want to really see any of this in more detail. And they only talk about TC20s. They don't talk about TC30s or 40s. Certainly 40s didn't exist back when this was new. You can see that it is in fact a tube camera. It uses a Satacon tube, which unfortunately is not the best tube for low light sensitivity, although I don't know if there really is a decent tube for low light sensitivity. The early CCDs were not really that great either. It really took them a while before they got low light sensitivity down. Please do forgive some of the noises in the background. Unfortunately, I've got to contend with it. And here we go again with that. Alright, so let me get all this stuff packed away, and we'll take a look at the camera itself. Here is the carrying case itself, which has definitely been used. I mean, you can see it's not totally perfect, but it is in pretty decent condition overall, and it's well cared for. As long as it's in my control, I intend to keep it that way. We've got a handle here, which is spring-loaded, and then we got another handle right up here. All of the rubber feet on the bottom are intact, which ought to be something of a minor miracle. They're even all intact on this side, too. Look at that. Definitely more than just a minor miracle. Usually the feet are the first thing to go. So we'll go and we'll open it. I don't think I did get the keys with this. I don't know. I might have the key. I might not. Let's see. I think this one's actually for the other. This one's for a Kyocera camera that I have. Yeah, that's not going to fit in there. Yeah, no, that's certainly not going to fit. Either way, here is the camera itself. I'm not going to take any of this out. You already saw it in the other video. That's not really terrifically interesting beyond that. Here's the microphone, which would have had foam over top of all of this. It doesn't anymore, but it still works, as you heard in the video. Here are 2 batteries. I have 2 additional batteries. Like I said, I got 5 tapes with it. They're not in here because I do actually intend to use them with other cameras after I've made sure that the lost footage is uploaded successfully, or at least saved successfully. This is the little viewfinder with its connection. It's a little connection point. This is the battery charger, and this is a battery charger. You can't actually power the camera with this. Other than maybe by way if you had it. There was probably a little adapter that you could plug in, and it would go to an umbilical cord that you could plug into the camera, because the camera certainly does have a connection point for an umbilical cord right down there. But as it is, I didn't get that piece. I don't know if you could even find such a thing these days. Either way, I don't really need it. I've got other power supplies that can power this no problem. And as you saw, these batteries are still good too, which is something of a major miracle as well. The one thing I didn't show you was up here. I have the RF modulator, and I think there's also the AV cable in there as well. I see two of those little connections there. Okay, the little weird jobs that plug into somewhere on this. Yeah, right down there. You can just barely make it out. Maybe with the video light. Yeah, that thing. JVC, which is what this basically is. This is basically a JVC GRC1, which, for those that are not aware, was made popular by the film Back to the Future. So if you want to go find an actual genuine JVC, be prepared to pay an arm and a leg for it. These Zeniths are a little bit more affordable. I think if you look on eBay right now, there's a couple for like 60 bucks or thereabouts. That's not including shipping. I think including shipping, I'm in this one for a little bit less than $100. So I think I did pretty well on that one. Either way, I think that's going to do it for this video. So thank you for watching. If you have any comments, feel free to leave them down below. I do intend to use this camera every once in a while, just like all of my cameras. Although, being as though it's VHS-C, I've kind of shied away from using those most of the time these days. I've got enough 8mm stuff and mini DV, and I've even got these that they're easier to deal with. And the video quality is a lot better. This is CP666 signing off, and I hope to see you next time. Till then.